Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are watching Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. Now, I'm not sure what the least dangerous game is, but I do know that the most dangerous game was either a short story or a novel or something of that nature where basically you're hunting another human being. And so that's the most dangerous game. So I don't know what to extrapolate from the least dangerous game. But I guess we'll find out, my friends. If you could do me a favor before we start, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and you'll be alerted anytime we go live on YouTube with Lower Decks, Star Trek The Original Series, The Expanse, any of our sci-fi offerings. You'll be made aware and can join us, my friends. And if you'd like any of those offerings early or in their full-length format, the link to the Patreon is in the description, my friends, but all that is then, and this is now, and now is my favorite day of the week. And I say that every day of the week because I love all the shows I'm watching. But today is my favorite day of the week as we do Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction, and away we go. Okay, so this is like the intro now that they're kind of giving over on Paramount Plus. So I don't know if we have a cold open or not because this is like the pre-open.
With honor!
Oh my God, are they playing some type of D&D? Holy shit, this is D&D. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, the ampersand looks like D&D. Okay. If you haven't guessed, everybody, I am a huge TT. This is the opening, so we can talk. I am a huge TTRPG fan. Huge. In fact, if you look at some of the earlier stuff on the very channel in which you're watching this, you'll see a lot of my old stuff. I, to this day, am just devour as much as I have time to do for TTRPGs. By the way, the Star Trek Adventures game from Modiphius is fantastic. I love it. I can't promote it anymore. It's so much fun. If you're ever thinking about playing in any era of the Star Trek universe, whether it be the NX Enterprise, Kirk's Enterprise, Jean-Luc's Enterprise, or even the Picard Enterprise era, all of that's available to you. I highly recommend it. But if they are playing a Klingon TTRPG and that ampersand, the and for the Klingon thing looked very much like the D&D. Oh my God, my friends, let's do this. They are playing D&D.
Kapla! You've rolled an 18, which means the Patoka's frozen in fear by your battle cry.
Okay, while he's cowering, I strike him down with my mek'leth.
I almost asked who that was beside Tendi.
No, he did it. It's a Ferengi knockoff. They do it for all the famous Klingons. I've been trying to get the Gowron expansion for months.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Ransom's made it his mission to catch me messing up. He's been riding my ass, just waiting for me to break protocol.
I would love to be a number one's number one.
Are you coming, Rutherford?
Nah, I want to finish playing. I'll just be regular early.
It'll just be regular early.
Making the best of a bad situation worked for Vindome, and that's how he got to be captain so fast.
Yeah, right. Captain Vendome. Can you imagine?
But he's
Captain Vendome.
who gets hit with a spear on a away mission.
Oh, I remember him.
Completing a meteoric rise to captain. I can't believe this.
Guy's reading out loud.
Vindome was always saying yes to new opportunities. He volunteered for any mission he could, good or bad.
I can't just go jumping into things without knowing the risks.
Warrior, you discover a shortcut through the caves of Truckmore.
I jump into it.
You fight for your life like a Vendor and live out the rest of your days not as a warrior, but as a dentist.
Ouch.
Oh, man.
Brutal.
Damn. I'm already digging this episode.
Messy with charged ions, so transporters are out of the picture. Instead, they've built a system of orbital lifts, one of which is malfunctioning.
So it's a broken down space elevator?
They're not elevators, they're orbital lifts.
We got Billups in the background. Oh, and Rutherford, okay. This reminds me of Ad Astra. Is that the one, Brad Pitt, where they had the big, long things into space?
These guys are one of those sexy cultures that run everywhere and kiss hello, right?
Their society is wellness-based, yes.
Wellness-based.
But they'd be better and faster at this than us.
Don't question my orders, Ensign. We're perfectly capable of repairing an orbital lift. Mr. Billups, just give the Delanians our greetings, keep them apprised of the repairs, and, try not to have too much fun down there.
Yes, sir.
Nice. It looks cool.
Well, look at me. It It wasn't my plan to get into senior science officer training. It just happened. And now I've got so much new stuff to study and I'm loving it. That could be you if you tried something new.
Yo, Boimler.
Listen to Tendy.
Sweaty muscleheads drilling balls at my face? No thanks.
Brad.
You just said no, man.
Boimler, Zindo?
Oh, dear God. Shax is out for blood and spring ball.
No. By that sustained scream when I bowled you over. You were really wailing.
Thanks, I get a lot of practice.
Listen, I run a choir when I'm off duty.
I run a choir.
You
Awesome.
honor the prophets with that pitch, Bradward. If you ever need a favor, I'm a comm badge tap away.
Really?
Fantastic. There you go, Brad.
Mr. Boimler. Yeah.
Whoa.
Can I guess your way? I'd peg you at a healthy 61.2 kilos.
Wow, yeah, that's
Exactly my weight.
Figure drawing class needs a skeletal boy for our life drawing the top.
oil me up.
Oh, I'm already loving this. I've always wanted to see more of this dynamic, too. Ever since episode 3 of season 1.
Sure. Like two engineer type people?
Get an engineer did that? How's it going down there, Billups?
I'll tell you, these Delanians are a friendly people. You know they kiss instead of shaking hands?
With tongue!
Yeah, with tongue!
With tongue.
I could get real used to this kind of treatment. Maybe I should transfer divisions again.
We'll join you guys when we're done up here.
Oh, I love the tongue-in-cheek throat callbacks.
There's some sort of wrestling display on, and they need a judge.
Ooh, yeah, baby, let's go.
Did?
I like Rutherford in the background.
Starfleet isn't all about being fed fruit by erotic aliens with slightly different nose ridges.
Slightly different. It's a cool concept. They aren't able to transport because of what they say, ionized radiation in the atmosphere.
Listen, you were totally right earlier. I've been saying yes to everything today, going way outside my comfort zone, and so far Shaq says he owes me a favor. I'm not afraid of Chief Lundy anymore.
Who is that big son of a bitch?
Great day.
Oh, I love that for you, Boims.
Poems.
Today I am a new Boimler, a bold Boimler. And the next person who asks me to do something, I'm saying yes no matter what.
Excuse me. I am Cranch. I was supposed to be on the planet by now.
Cranch.
Would either of you be...
Wait, Mr. Cranch, I'm gonna say yes to the hunted.
Jesus, Brad.
Just because you said you were going to say yes to the next person who asked you to do something.
I love Tendy. I love Tendy so much.
You are now my prey. The hunt begins in 1 hour.
I would have already shat myself. Run. Run. Tendy is the absolute best. Oh my God. Everybody needs a friend like Tendy.
The magnetic seal in the panel, and the repair is complete.
Magnetic seal? I don't even...
Oh my God, he's watching like their YouTube.
Show them your belly buttons. You'll be fine.
We tried that, and it just made them angrier. No, our B buttons are out and about. Just
Our B buttons.
I'm gonna go work over there so I don't have to watch you fumble around with that stupid pipe.
I'm not fumbling.
He's got a method to his madness here, and it deals with Billups too as well. I think this is like not a test, but like a spreading of your wings, branching out a bit.
When you say you're gonna hunt me, you mean like metaphorically, right?
He does not. So is he actually trying to kill him, or is this just like, yes, he is actually trying to kill him. Guy's like Batman. Nice job, Brad.
Oh, I shared a lovely brunch earlier today with Cranch. You know, he's quite the charmer.
Carol?
Hunt.
But I don't want to be hit with an arrow or a boomerang or any of that, please, Captain.
Ensign, we have to respect his culture.
Cap'n.
Also, their leader is either an ancient god or a telepathic baby. They're kind of dancing around it.
They're kind of dancing around it.
Right, okay. I'll speak from the diaphragm.
Come on, Rutherford.
Hello? Someone?
Jack, you're gonna have to get down there, bud. Whatever you're working on here, I mean, you've got 2 crew members in deep shit. She's gonna dive. She's diving. Oh, you crazy.
I'm coming, Rodney!
Mariner is batshit crazy, and I could not love her anymore. So this is drawn directly from the Kelvin universe.
You were right. I was going out of my way to try to prove that you would disobey my orders if you felt you knew better.
But you stayed on task.
That's amazing.
Those engineers are in way over their heads. It's time for us to go save their butts. I'll come meet you in Section 8.
You're never gonna get back up there. There's no way you're getting back up there. There's no way. Get in the Sequoia.
I'm not a Klingon. I tried to be bold today, but I just ended up as prey.
The only way you can lose now is by letting your foe define who you are. Never back down. Never cower.
Oh,
Is on.
Brad, come on, buddy.
Because now the hunted has become. Oh my God!
The hunted always tries to become the hunter.
Oh my God, it went right through him. It went right through him. It's propping him up. He's taking a picture.
And with that, my hunt has ended. Crew Sapions practice catch and release. We respect life above all else. That's why we hunt.
Oh, thank God.
You were excellent prey. But I do have notes.
Can you?
I do have notes.
You have earned my respect, Bradwood Boimler. I will be passing along high praise to your captain.
Really? Thank you.
Oh, Brad, you're making me so proud, buddy. Oh, I'm honest to God. Brad is a climbing wall. Was that a service elevator she used?
Maybe we take a quick break.
Oh, good one. Let's roll.
It's time to go.
We come to you, volcanic Lord Morgo, navel of
Oh
the
my
planet.
God.
We sacrifice these sinners.
Did they say navel of the planet?
Psychic baby leader and his co-leader 355, the sentient computer.
Wow, psychic baby, evil computer, and a volcano? You guys ever heard of overkill?
It provides a system of checks and balances.
3 branches of government.
I demand parley. You live a health-based way of life, correct?
Yes.
Then behold!
We will hear you out.
Although we all come from different worlds, we are only slightly different.
Tear it up, Jack. Tear it the fuck up, my man.
You wanted to see me, sir.
I owe you an apology.
Sir, you were really impressive down there. The way you navigated that volcano and the baby and all that.
Save it for your personal log, Mariner. Buttering me up is not going to make your life any easier.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
You were, Jack. You fucking were, buddy.
Hey, there he is. How's the shoulder?
Dr. Tana says it'll probably always feel a little off, but it's fine.
Sorry. I kind of feel responsible since I was the one who told you to go against your plans.
Oh.
I'm Bold Boimler from here on out.
I'm not sure that was the lesson to learn today.
Yeah, no.
I confidently enter the bar and demand blood wine.
The bartender.
Whatever, I'm still gonna be bold.
If you'd like to continue, download the expansion pack, Dinner with Lady Lindor.
Oh, come on.
You can subscribe to the entire honorable season by tapping
Fantastic.
Adventures a la carte. Ferengi black market tax not included. All
Ferengi black market tax. These shows are so short. We just got done watching Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game, and there was a hunt. All right, my friends, the only thing we have left to do now is, of course, to talk about it. All right, my dear friends, we just got done watching Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. Now, this one, boy, this is right up my alley. This was such a great episode. In fact, I got sucked in a little bit there towards the top of the episode, towards the middle, and as soon as they mentioned anything even remotely related, and this was more than remotely related to tabletop role-playing games, I was absolutely hooked in their Klingon version of D&D. Really, really great stuff. I really enjoy just how the lengths that they will go to get to the heart of the characters organically. And I think that, again, season 1 was very much, in my mind, the season of, hey, here's Beckett Mariner. Here's everything that we know. Let's watch some of the kind of focusing in, spotlight drilling down in, beam heavy on Beckett. Let's learn, let's go. And I think that season 2 was very much that way with Brad. Brad's meteoric growth in season 2 from the season 1 Brad, who was not necessarily someone that I cared for very much, to season 2 Brad, which we see carried through in this episode of episode 2 of season 3. Not necessarily bold Boimler that he's saying, but Brad who is willing to go beyond the regulations, not break them per se, but be able to see a path around them, not necessarily be like, kind of have a roadblock set up anytime he hits something that kind of conflicts in his mind with Starfleet regulations. Now we get to see Brad kind of unfettered from that type of stuff, where he's able to kind of grow and be the person that he needs to be. However, Brad doesn't necessarily know how to take the initiative or how to take the next step on these things. And that's when we have somebody like Tendi step forward and offer a suggestion that Brad sort of circumvents or kind of, it creates his own Frankensteinian version of Tendi's suggestion, as Brad always will. Brad's like maximum Brad. If Brad's going to do something, whether it be follow the regulations or, in this case, be bold, he can't be, he can't follow the regulations a little bit. He can't be bold a little bit. He's got to be maximum. He's got to be, if he's collecting comic books, he needs to have the entire run. There's no half measures with Brad. It's all in. And I appreciate that. And I like that. And that's constant with the character, which is another facet of these wonderful writers and their ability to be able to really draw us in with these characters. It's the writing crew, but again, it's also Jack Quaid, when it comes to Boimler. Just an amazing bit of character creation, that is obviously just his voice, but able to really convey the emotional journey that we have with Brad Boimler. I am a huge fan of the episodes that kind of surprise me with growth. Surprise me with like, hey, here's the characters, here's how they stand, here's what we can expect from them. And at the same time, everything that you've learned about the characters, that's in play. But we're going to shock you now with what looks like a benign, hey, episode of the week, an episodic type of thing, where we've got just a generalized 3 branches of government and a psychic baby, a living volcano, and an evil computer, not evil, but a sentient computer down on the surface that needs to have negotiations and whatnot, help from the Federation, or liaise, as they said. But inside that benign little bit, we get these incredible spurts of growth. And we saw it today. Obviously, the very overt one was Brad's bold Boimler, coming of age type of thing, where he realized that in this direction, he made substantial headway. And the headway that he did make, I think that the one that was probably more realistic was the Shax one, where he went to go play spring ball, and he opened himself up to a new opportunity aboard ship, and it ended up being something that he didn't really hate. He said that he was screaming a lot, not doing quite really that well at the athletic side of it, but he gained the respect of Shax. And Shax, hey, if you ever need anything, I am a comm badge tap away. Well, that's a huge thing. I mean, we even had, with the bridge buddies, he never had a bridge buddy. Rutherford had Shax, and Rutherford also has Billups, Tendi, Tiana, Ransom, or not really Ransom, but Carol obviously for Beckett, he tried Ransom, but he's not Hawaiian, nor is he from a moon. So that pretty much ruled Brad out from a bridge buddy. But, Tendi's suggestion got him on the path to be able to be noticed. Brad's sort of stuck in the situation where Jack notices a lot of what Brad does. When Brad kind of, was willing to throw himself to the wolves, so to speak, and make an absolute fool out of himself, he was able, when he was helping Tendi when she had turned into that insectoid, got her laughing and got her to revert back to the way. Jack noticed that. And, he made sure at the end of that episode, hell of a good job, man. Really good job. That's why little things like that are meant to be like, hey, Brad, people are noticing you, which is exactly what the message of it is. But the other thing that it says is Jack notices. Jack isn't that type of, he's affectless, totally narcissistic, self-centered, career-oriented first officer. Like he just can't stop thinking about the chair. We actually haven't seen any of that from Jack. We've never seen Jack like pining for his own command. He's mentioned it, thinking, if they're transferring Carol, maybe I've got a shot at this. And then he gets upset when they don't, but he never talks about it. He never talks about it, about advancement, which is interesting because, I think Jack is a very capable officer. He looks the part, as far as like the Kirk, age or Kirk era of what a captain should be. But now we're starting to see with these little flashes of like his appreciation for what Boimler did for Tendi, his recognition of what Beckett was doing. Obviously, Beckett kind of pulled the wool over his eyes by actually being like that, but he was able to convey to her his message and his desire for them staying up there to do that. He wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to just, break his orders or not follow his orders because she thought that, she was right, which she did, but he never really knew about that. And he admitted, hey, I was wrong. I shouldn't have, gone that direction. You did some really great work. And that shows to me, it rewards Beckett and it makes Beckett realize, hell, maybe there is a different approach to all this. And I think that's what we were supposed to get from the Beckett ransom kind of exchange. And in the past, that exchange was, Brad gets a boost. That's what we're supposed to take from it. But the secondary B plot of what we're supposed to take from it is Jack is also growing, or he's always been that way, but now he's displaying it. Now we see growth in Jack. And I really, it's a twofer. It's a twofer every time it happens. We get growth in Beckett in this episode, and we get growth in Jack. We get growth in Tendi, where Tendi, Tendi is a character. I don't want to get too far in the weeds and talk too much about stuff like this, but Tendi is a character that she really gets the short end of the stick a lot. And by that, I mean, she's always helping others, always wants other people to see her in a positive light. And so therefore, she's always the one offering aid or giving direction or providing advice or, helping in any way that she can. So we don't get a chance to learn too much about her by having Tendi kind of go through her paces. We noticed it in the Badgie episodes where she doesn't like to spacewalk. Okay, that's a little bit of what we learned from Tendi. But now that I know the type of character that Tendi is, now is the time to really recognize what we're learning from her. Just like with Ransom. When Ransom comes forward and says things like, hey, Beckett, you really did well today, or when he says, hey, Brad, great job, or sends the cadet over, Boimler's he's number one in organization on the Cerritos. That shows us so much about Jack, what kind of person he is, a person that will give accolades outside of the person's presence to the person. Not many people do that. When someone is absent, very rare. Think about the people that talk positively about someone when that person's not around. Or someone's like, significant other isn't in earshot. They talk about their positive aspects or they promote somebody without any type of recompense being kind of in play. You know what I mean? That's Jack. And Tendi shows us how she is growing by the things that she does. And, when she sat down for a moment, and I mean, again, I always want to see, I've said this before, I have two tropes that I am a utter sucker for, a huge sucker for. I'm a sucker for romance, but specifically romance like Love in the Time of Cholera, where, it's a situation that someone shouldn't fall in love, but they do, whether it's a zombie apocalypse or, stranded on a shuttle, and they fall in love or they have feelings start to develop or things. I'm a huge sucker for that. I will fall for it every time. So, that's where I stand. The other trope that I have that I am a huge sucker for is the Bing Bong moment. That's how I refer to it. When a character, like Bing Bong from Inside Out, realizes that the success of the action that they are currently undertaking isn't possible without sacrifice. And so that character decides they will sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the other person or the group. And so, like when Bing Bong jumped out of the wagon, you're going to make it, boom. And Joy does make it, but Bing Bong doesn't. Spoiler alert. But which just absolutely wrecked me when I was in the theater. But I always remember it. And those are the two tropes that I love. Love in the Time of Cholera and the Bing Bong moment. And for a moment, just the briefest of moments, when Tendi was in the towel and she came out of the sonic shower, presumably, and she sat down and she reached over and touched Brad's foot, like kind of a comforting touch. It's something friends would do. But in my mind, it triggered for a second and she was sharing and opening up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, would Tendi like someone like Brad? Because I always, because we just see Tendi with Rutherford so much, and Tendi didn't have any type of, Tendi and Beckett really didn't get along. Not they didn't get along, but it took them a bit to kind of warm up to one another whenever they went on their little adventure. In season 2. But now, I don't see that same type of romance possible with Beckett. I do see the romance possible with Rutherford, but Rutherford's so into being an engineer. He only says certain things kind of, like, oh, she's so cute. Like whenever he was talking about Tendi that one time. But he never really does anything unless he did something and then forgot about it because the implant was gone. I still kind of have that as a pin. Tendi seems to me like someone who is, very loving. She's always so supportive, so like invested in her friends. Tendi seems to me like somebody that really would benefit from a relationship. And I'm not saying like sex or, romance particularly, but like the support of a partner. Like just that relationship, just Tendi having somebody that she always knows she's, loved by, that she doesn't have to try to get them to like her all the time. She already knows it. Someone that I don't think she really knows that with everybody else, with Rutherford, Beckett, Boimler, even Rutherford, right? I think that she still has to be, Tendi, positive, positive, positive. I really wish that Tendi could have somebody. And again, sex and, the physical aspects of the relationship are secondary to me. I would like her to be able to have somebody that's there for her and knows her and can see beyond that kind of Wizard of Oz curtain she has to put up of positivity. Because I think there's more behind that. I think there's that very possibly could be a front for massive insecurity and maybe even depression. She seems too happy. Much like, I said that there's too much growth with Brad last season. I speculated that he might potentially be his own clone. Who knows? I mean, that's still my wildest of the theories. But, my point being, with all of this long-winded, rambling stuff, this little episode, The Least Dangerous Game, episode 2, season 3, showed us so much about these characters. We got a little bit about Rutherford, but predominantly Boimler, Beckett, Tendi, in that order, I would think. Our 3 of our lower deckers really got fleshed out a bit. And not really fleshed out like revelatory stuff, but like, here's where their mental state stands. Because Beckett is definitely in a different state than she was at the beginning of season 2 or end of season 1. In a vastly different headspace, at least one that she's now admitting to, where she's recognizing the error of her ways sometimes, and really kind of seeing that there's a different way to go. That's a huge thing for Beckett. Of course, Brad's got his growth. Tendy's got what we just mentioned. We're learning more about Tendy. We're learning what she needs, right? Just great stuff. And then, of course, with the final comment, we learned a ton about Jack, just with Jack's delivery and observations of the lower deckers. This is great stuff. It's expert writing, and in a 22-minute episode with a plot that had to be fulfilled and a B plot of Boimler being hunted. Amazing stuff. They were able to cram all that in there without it looking like it was crammed in there, making it organic and having it flow and giving us all of this great representations of our characters. God, my friends, this show's really good. Did you know? Hey, surprise everybody. Lower Decks is awesome. But anywho, my friends, I absolutely love this episode. This has been my favorite episode for quite a bit. I think that this one really captures what I truly love about Lower Decks, and that's the characters, and that's learning about the characters. Give me just a little bit. Just, I'm like an addict, give me just give me a little bit, and they did. This episode, they said, we know that you've been waiting for some stuff. Here you go. Boom, 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 boom. Send it all out. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. My friends, if you could, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. You'll be alerted the next time we go live with Star Trek Lower Decks or the original series or The Expanse or hell, any of our sci-fi offerings. And my friends, if you would like any of those offerings early or in their long form format, link to the Patreons in the description. I should be several episodes ahead of Lower Decks over there now. Yeah, at least 2, usually 3 or 4. But my friends, that's then and this is now. And now it's time for us to say goodbye from the Cerritos and the Lower Decks. But where should we say goodbye from today? Well, that's easy. Let's say goodbye from where we said hello. We're all sitting around the table. We have our dice ready. Our polyhedral dice are ready to go. We're all dressed up in the cosplay of our favorite characters. We're ready to play our favorite tabletop role-playing game. We look at one another and we realize we are among friends. And what will we learn about one another today? My friends, until next time we meet, Vulcan Roll.